just my wife. I don't know. But here's another story, and I actually have two stories to combine this one, and it's about Superman Legacy. It's good news. Now this is a rumor, but I think it's very likely. And also looking at Warner Brothers next year, they're upping the ante, I think, with IMAX. The rumor is from Comic Oddity. Sorry, I messed it up. And I wanted to cover this the other day. Rumor: James Gunn will film Superman Legacy entirely in IMAX and plans to have an exclusive IMAX release for the movie. I think that should happen. I would like even beyond just the aspect ratio, me personally, I would like extra scenes in the IMAX version over the regular release. I think that is where the industry should go. I've been covering movies. I like a lot of different forms of movies. Listen, I still have a 3D TV and 3D Blu-rays. I like new technology, and the most consistent new technology, the one that still brings the boys to the yard, I'm just kidding, to the theater, the boys to the theater, is an IMAX really premium format. And Christopher Nolan has done a lot. James Cameron has done a lot for the format, but I think the next, and the Mission Impossible movies too, have done a lot for the IMAX format. But I think the next logical conclusion is an entire blockbuster movie all in IMAX, and then go a step further. I would like bonus scenes just for IMAX, like to even be, I'm not talking about the Snyder extended cut to be a 3 hours to a 2 hour. I'm talking about like 5 or 10 extra minutes of extra IMAX goodness. Give people bang for the buck. And I'm all for this. And if this happens, I will see Superman Legacy IMAX day one. If it's an IMAX intended release, like they really support the format with even the filming. But Joe, I'd like to get your thoughts there on Superman Legacy, the whole film being an IMAX, and what your thoughts are. Well, you do see IMAX movies, right, with your plan?
Rarely.
Rarely.
I very rarely go to an IMAX. I mean, I kind of find IMAX to be a pain in the ass because there's so few IMAX theaters around, and then they have those theaters that are affectionately called the Limax theaters, where they claim they're IMAX, but they're not really.
Well, here's the differential though. If more companies start doing this and start reaping the rewards from it, then that's going to force some theaters to upgrade to have legit IMAX screens more theaters. And I think that is the future, that you have to, I think you should have more theaters with 1 or 2 IMAX screens.
Maybe.
I mean, premium theaters, I mean.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't really. I mean, IMAX is fine. It doesn't do much for me. I mean, it's
look at Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer did amazing IMAX. Even Mission Impossible was doing decent IMAX before Oppenheimer took it out. And that's the other issue, is when you have competing movies now, I think the IMAX kind of like really affects the box office when there's just regular screens. Like when maybe Mission Impossible might have done better, Joe, if Oppenheimer didn't take over the screens, because then it just went to the regular format, and they're like, well, why?
Honestly, I personally, I don't think it makes much of a difference on the box office, because like I think if you look at something like Oppenheimer, people went out to see it in droves. Most people did not see it in IMAX because there aren't enough IMAX theaters out there. I think most people were just seeing it in standard format. And
Oppenheimer IMAX was sold out for weeks. Well, you're saying because there's limited, then I guess.
Yeah. So it's like the majority, aren't seeing it in that format because
I'm sure there's been movies filmed entirely in IMAX. I have to find out which ones.
Oppenheimer was shot entirely in
I
IMAX.
don't think all of it, no.
I'm pretty
There
sure it
were
was.
certain scenes. Well, let me see. I know the aspect ratio changed for certain scenes. What,
Honestly, I think the biggest problem with IMAX too is that it's more expensive to see a movie in IMAX. I think getting people in theaters, if anything, we need a lot of the number one complaint. I was actually talking about this at my theater today. I was talking to the manager at my theater, and the number one complaint we always hear, why don't people go to the theater, is it's too expensive. And we were talking about how, quite frankly, it's never been cheaper to go to the movies than right
okay,
now.
so to answer, Reddit says, to answer your question, Oppenheimer was not entirely shot in
Oh.
IMAX. There's a mix of standard 70 millimeter and IMAX 70 millimeter. And I think that's for most IMAX movies. So if James Gunn does the full, I would love that. Would love that. But here's the other thing I wanted to show you though, Joe, and show the audience is Warner Brothers in 2024. And I would love the Batman 2 to be all IMAX as well. But you have to see this. Oh man, where is it? I just had it. Darn it. I'll have to find it.
Yeah, but we were talking in the theater today, the manager and I, about how people keep saying that it's so expensive to see a movie, and in actuality, with these subscription plans like Regal Unlimited, AMC, A List, it's really never been cheaper to see a movie. But the problem is, people don't know about these because they advertise them in the theater. And I'm like, well, you've already got the people who are coming to the theater. If you are only advertising the theater, you got to put it on TV so that the people who aren't coming to the theater know about this deal.
I can't find the tweet. Basically, the tweet said about Warner Brothers and IMAX. Dune 2. What else is coming out next year for Warner Brothers? And they have an IMAX heavy.
Joker.
Yeah, Joker. They have an IMAX heavy release schedule for 2024. And they actually didn't do horrible at the end of this year, but Warner Bros. Was only one of the only studios actively releasing films, though, with Wonka, Aquaman 2. And
There
what
was
else
an
did they?
article. There was an article in Variety about how the theaters are bracing themselves to lose like billions next year because this year was so poor, and in terms of ticket sales, and next year there's less movies coming out because of the strikes.
Yeah. 2024.
Which is part of why I said it wasn't a good time for a strike. I said, I understand. I want those guys to get everything they deserve, but we were still in a recovery period. It's hard to strike it when you're actively in a recovery, trying to save the industry.
Godzilla X Kong.
Yeah, I'm excited about that one.
That's gonna be IMAX. I don't know if that was in, June Part 2. Oh, upcoming Warner Brothers movies. Let me see. Let me bring this up here. I had the tweet and I lost it. I apologize, everyone. The Color Purple, but that's not like an IMAX focused.
That's
release.
doing really well from what I hear. I hear that's like Color Purple and Wonka are kind of like the superstar movies out right now.
June Part 2, which I'm going to see. Mickey 17. I don't know what that is.
I think I saw a trailer for that. I can't remember what it is.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
That's what I was forgetting. Furiosa, a Mad Max saga.
Yeah.
That should be an IMAX release. Godzilla X Kong,
Beetlejuice
Joker.
2.
Oh yeah, Lord of the Rings, The War. I haven't. Oh, this is animation.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was going to be animation. let me see. Isaac, the biggest movie fan, says the only Warner Brothers movies that I am excited for next year are Joker 2 and Doom Part 2. I'm excited for Joker 2. Um, I want to see Furiosa Mad Max Saga. I'm not really excited. Like from what I saw the trailer looked kind of okay to me. A little underwhelming. Like I did not like Chris Hemsworth's character. Maybe in context I'll like it. Godzilla X Kong just looks like fun to me. Doom Part 2 definitely. My wife actually watched Dune Part 1 again the other day. It's been a while since I've seen it. But yeah, The Lord of the Rings, Joker, Furiosa, Godzilla X Kong, and Doom Part 2. I don't know what Alto Knights is. And this is animation. Because Zaslav said he wants to reinvigorate Lord of the Rings, you know? So
Hey, are you excited about the three Pixar movies that were released direct to streaming coming to theaters in early 2024? You heard about this, right?